So what if I told you that you could actually lose weight, but you could keep eating bacon? I mean, like a lot of bacon. Dai Manuel is joining us today to tell us all about what you're kind of calling, we'll go with the bacon diet,
Yeah,
but that's not necessarily
No, I mean,
kind of
it's not just
what
all
it's called,
bacon.
right.
There's a lot of bacon.
Okay, it's high in fat.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're really talking about.
Yeah, it's a high-fat, moderate protein, low carbohydrates. And this is pretty much the opposite of what this typical North American diet is, which is high in a lot of refined sugars, a lot of carbohydrates. And so the whole point is we're trying to create a metabolic shift and put our bodies into a state that's called ketosis. And this happens when our insulin levels go down. And the only way to get the insulin levels down, you got to cut out some carbs.
Okay.
And then when you get into this state, it's amazing because you start to literally burn fat. That not only the stuff that's stored, but also the fats that you eat as energy. But the only way to do it is to get into ketosis.
This is almost backwards thinking to what we've been educated and what we've seen in the headlines for the last 30 years, kind of low fat, you know, high protein. So this is having a shift in how you think about food.
It really is, and I mean, we all know the benefits of healthy fats, especially the last 10 years. A lot of stuff's been coming out about omegas and avocado oils and vegetable oils and certain other types of diets like the South Beach diet, which are rich in healthy fats, because it benefits not only our skin, our health, but every cell in our body has got a membrane that's made of fat. We got to have good fats in us.
One of the membranes we're talking about, the brain.
The brain, yeah.
And this is what because I've been doing this for a couple months now, and I've really noticed the change. But the brain health and just how the brain functions.
Yeah. So what happens is, and I poured you a little Bulletproof coffee here.
And so this is the start, and this is what a lot of people have actually heard. It's a term that people are hearing a lot about. This Bulletproof coffee. What is this?
It's what got me started just over 5 years ago, and it's literally we take some coffee, we put it in a plunger, you plunge it. You throw it in a blender, you take some brain octane, 1 or 2 tablespoons, and then you'll notice I got some butter here. It's grass-fed organic, okay? And then you add 1 or 2 tablespoons, and then you blend it.
Okay, so you have coffee, oil, and butter.
Uh-huh. Now, what happens, and I'll tell you, Leanne, you do this first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, so you're fasted after an evening, you've slept, and then you get up, you have this first thing in the morning. It kickstarts your metabolism. It will get you into a state of ketosis right away. And when you start burning ketones for energy, and this is where you get that brain clarity, right? And this is where they've seen a lot of benefits for people that are dealing with inflammatory issues or brain problems. They've seen a significant notice in improvements. And I have an autoimmune disease, and that's what attracted me to this way of eating, because it's eliminated a lot of the symptoms that I have with my condition.
Okay, this way of eating is actually a ton of fun.
It is.
Because you can be creative and just be smart about it. This, by the way, is really good. I've been having the coffee, and I've had the oil like on salad dressings. I hadn't actually combined it all together into what makes the famous Bulletproof coffee. So once again, the coffee, the brain fuel, and the butter.
And the butter.
Okay, then there are other options. So let's go to that.
Well, and I have 2 daughters, much like yourself, and sometimes they can be really picky. And also lunches, meals on the go, that's where most people fall off with any sort of lifestyle shift, especially when it involves this type of nutrition shift as well, is they don't plan ahead. So right here we have something called bacon egg muffin tops. Literally take a muffin tray, we layer in some bacon, we crack an egg on it, we stick it in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes, depending on the crisp level.
So if I like my bacon a little crispier, I'd
say 25 to 30 minutes, and then away you go. And then you can side it with some avocado and some tomatoes. This is a very keto-friendly diet dish, and it's also very satiating, so it leaves you feeling full, energetic, but also it's easy and you can pack it to go too.
Bacon, eggs, avocado.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It is.
Okay, and what have you guys done here?
So here we have, it's beef, bacon, some spices, on lettuce, okay? And so we call it the Korean beef and bacon lettuce cups. And they're great for grab and goes, pack them for lunches, because you just put the meat in one container, put the salad in another one, just scoop it out and eat it. And it is extremely low in carbohydrates, and will also support this way of eating.
There's lots of bacon thrown on there, by the way.
Yeah.
I like this.
It's the bacon diet.
Okay, what do we have up front?
Yeah, so here we have some ham, and then we have some cheese in there, some blue cheese, along with a little bit of cucumber, a little bit of red tomatoes, and then we just roll it up. So we make these little rolls. Our kids love these, and they're also easy when we're traveling on the road.
Yeah, which you are doing a lot of.
A little bit.
For the last year and a half, traveling on the road.
We've been road tripping.
Yeah.
And for those that have a sweet tooth, like that was my toughest part, especially the first week going into ketosis, because you have a lot of sugar cravings, and sometimes people report headaches because it naturally flushes a lot of fluids from your body too. Chia pudding, and unfortunately we didn't make it last night, but I brought all the raw ingredients. You take a half a cup of chia, mix it with 1 can of coconut oil, the full-fat coconut milk, and then you put it in the fridge overnight. It comes out with a nice pudding consistency. extremely healthy, very energetic. Like this will get your energy going too. Kids love it. And top it with some blueberries.
And that's probably a great thing first thing.
Oh, it's
if
amazing.
You're not
As an alternative, yes, yeah.
Okay, now I'll let you go through a couple of the other snacks and snack ideas, and then I want to get back to why this makes sense. Okay, so these are just a couple of other things that you brought.
Yeah, so right here we have watermelon seeds actually. So they're extremely high in protein. They're also got some healthy fats in it and practically no carbohydrates, because fiber actually is carb neutral. It doesn't affect our blood sugars because our bodies don't actually process it. So when you look at carbohydrate contents, if it's high in fiber, you actually subtract that from the carbohydrate count to figure out your numbers.
Okay.
And so it's really interesting. It also helps level out your blood sugar so you don't get these cravings. Right here we have this thing called zoodle, and it's made from mung bean. So if you're someone that likes pasta, like I have some Italian friends, they like their pasta.
And people might find that because for some of us who don't eat a lot of bread, pastas, and rice, this isn't a very difficult transition.
No.
But for people who like their carbs and like their pasta and like their breads, this would be a way of transitioning some of it, because you don't want to be having a lot of that with the way you're eating like this.
Absolutely, and it's really high in natural fibers, so it gets it almost to a zero count on the carbohydrates, yet you get some healthy, a little bit of protein, a little bit of fats, and then you mix it in with like a brain octane or another olive oil or avocado oil. You can make a nice little base there for yourself, and then a nice meat sauce.
Okay, so I want to, and I've been honest, and I've been tweeting about this and doing this. So I've been doing this a couple months. I haven't been able to get myself into that ketosis state for very long. I can get into it for like an hour or two, and then it's done. Can people do this and not always be in ketosis, or is it something that you want to strive for ketosis? How do you break that down?
You do. So this state of ketosis is when your liver starts to break down fat. And
you're burning fat.
And you do, and that's why they call it a fat-burning diet. But these ketones is an alternative to sugars. And so our muscles have something called glycogen, which is our way of our body storing energy. And we only have so much room in our muscles for that. And then we have some that floats around in our blood. And what happens is when we get sugars, any sort of carbohydrates, we signal to our body to produce insulin. And as soon as we start producing insulin, it shuts off ketosis. Okay, and so we go from fat burning into sugar burning. And so we really want to maintain low carbohydrate intake. If you find that you're going in and out of it, I use something called keto sticks, and they're about $10 at the drugstore.
You're peeing on a stick.
I'm peeing on a stick.
Yeah, but it'll tell you.
But it will tell you your level, and it's just a nice way to do a check and balance to make sure you're in there. But once you get keto adapted, when you get used to burning ketones for energy, it is incredible the shift you'll see in your health.
They just say you're vibrant, you're alert, you've got energy, your workouts are tenfold. So it's something to be able to strive for. I'm working on it. I'm working on it, but great information, and finally got to try the Bulletproof coffee.
Awesome.
Thanks so much. Where can people find more information, Dai? You've got your book out. There's lots of things.
Yeah, there's lots of cool places, but if you connect with me online, DaiManuel.com, I've got some free articles and resources you can have that talks to you all about this, but also directs you to some of the newest medical studies that support this way of lifestyle. So check it out, do your own due diligence, experiment, try it for 2 weeks, and tell me it doesn't work for you.
Perfect. All the bacon your heart desires. I love it.